Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. Not on the normal night because we're coming live at you with a race replay. And I tell you what, folks, we got a good one here. It is the Homestead Miami Speedway for 120 laps, and we got someone else in the booth. Brandon, how you doing tonight?
You know, Brett, it's nice to be in the booth with you. You know, I'd rather be racing, but things lined up to where I wasn't available to race. So to me, sometimes like when you do the race recaps, I'm like, it's kind of weird if I'm in the race and I'm still commentating. So this is like a good chance to get back in the booth with you. We've done a couple, and yeah, I'm looking forward to a good race.
Oh yeah, it's always a great time to have you up here in the booth, and yeah, with the action kind of going on before, now we get the full kind of experience, bringing everyone else up to speed. What happened on Sunday night, and first and foremost, got to kick things off in qualifying, and kind of surprised, we saw a little bit in practice, mostly under the daylight. Well, now even in qualifying right here, starting under the lights, so that's got to be a little bit of a monkey wrench here for qualifying, because the track changes a lot on its own, and you only got 2 laps to throw down a flyer.
Yeah, and it's talk about low grip too, them first couple laps. I mean, you got barely anything coming off the corners, but you want to be in the gas because these are your heater laps, and you're skating for both of these laps. And as we see, good to see Kip here tonight, and yeah, he gets it off the corner real nice and easy there. But it is you're driving basically on a hockey rink, if you ask me, because it is not the easiest to go out there and just put down flyers when the car's that much on edge. It's not like that at every track. Some tracks you're gripped up and you can do it, but this is one of them tracks where it's just not there.
Yeah, it definitely does seem that way, and we always hear, right, these next-gen cars, it's track position, and that's where it comes down to. Getting that track position early on comes straight from qualifying. His first lap, Kip Easley was the quickest, has fallen to third, lap number 2 for Easley. Not as good at 32.69 for lap number 2. That'll put him, though, P number 4, as looks like the tower maybe a little upset during the race replay, but right now it shows Johnny Barker with the quick time of 32.57 so far for the 6 machine.
Yeah, and that's Johnny. Johnny, I mean, he's good. He's good long run. He's good in everything, but man, he can put down a heater, and it's very reminiscent of the car number that he drives in a way. If you think of Mark Martin, which is Johnny Barker's favorite driver, that's something that whenever you hear people talk about Mark Martin, that's what he did. He would go out there and he just put a heater down right off. It didn't matter. So it kind of makes sense when I start to think about it all back. And yeah, no surprise he's up on the board. And then another guy I talk about, good to see Kip racing. It's good to see Frank out here too. So we'll see what Frank can put down here.
Yeah, his appearance from the driver with the 62 machine out here in a next-gen car, so we'll see what Frank can do as lap number 1 across the stripe of 32.76 output him. First car outside of the top 10 at the moment.
Yep, and Frank runs the Sunday League with me over at Sim 500, so he's going to be pulling double duty in this race, in a sense that he races this one, then he's going to go race another one right after this. But Kyle Larson's not the only one that can pull doubles. That's all I'm saying right there. Frank can do it too. So see what he can get here on lap 2. Usually a little bit slower, but you never know.
Yeah, looks like you're right, Brandon. A little bit slower at 32.82 for lap number 2 for the 62 machine. So he'll take that 32.76, and I'll put him 12th now because Cal Tony jumps up inside the top 3, puts himself P number 3, and Joe Hudson now jumps up to 4th quick here.
Yeah, and that's one thing these guys Joe's one that can really put down a heater. He does it very often, but yeah, it's a very fine balance with these 2 laps because this is the track where you need to get the heat in the tire, and you kind of get the heat in the tire for the second lap, but you use so much of that grip on the first lap that it kind of burns you for the second lap. So it's a really hit or miss thing where like sometimes it can be quicker, but more often than not, it's that first lap, and it's just managing, trying to get as much heat in the tire coming off pit road that you can, which I've heard some guys talk about what the Coke drivers do is they burn their first lap and they drive through the paint on the infield. Like right here, as you see, like the other track, they're driving through that because for some reason, the painted section of the track in iRacing just heats the tires so much more. So they're burning that first lap, not really up to speed, just trying to get heat in the tire. So
Wow.
maybe something to try in future qualifying sessions, but that's something I heard after after our truck qualifying. Somebody told me that, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't try it," but
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that
just little tidbit. You never know.
exactly. And who would have thought that the paint would have some extra grip like that? And speaking about finding some grip, it looks like the 84 machine actually just beats Johnny Barker by 100th of a second to walk away with the Rock Pirates RC Pole Award. So it's actually going to be the 84 machine defending champion Anthony Calatoni going to be leading the field down to the green flag and walking away with a pole award. And I'm going to double check the stats, see if what number this is for Calatoni pole awards here for this season.
I will say this, as I just mentioned, Brett, that had to have been on lap 2 because when he came across the stripe on the first lap, I'm pretty sure you said he was P3.
Yep.
So he was one of them rare chances where, hey, you can pick up speed on that second lap. I'm curious because obviously he didn't lay down a slow lap on the first one, so
No.
very impressive. And yeah, it's no surprise, like you said, defending champ Anthony Collins. I mean, if you look up there, we got 2 past champions on the front row, so no surprise from what we got here. But
yeah, definitely not, and some good speed out of those cars. And like you said, Calatoni, impressive lap, first lap, third, then puts it on the pole there. And speaking about driving order and where people are starting, let's run through tonight's starting lineup with Anthony Calatoni leading the field to the green flag to his outside the 6th car of Johnny Barker. Row number 2 will have the 39 machine of Chance Griffith and Joe Hudson in the 23 starting in 4th. Rounding out the top 5, that will be the 73 of John Crosby with Jamison Heath in the 71 machine starting in 6th. 7th going to the 27 machine of Kip Easy, Rob Lowell in car 21, let's say, starting in 8th. Mike Kelly starting in 9th, and Brandon Hinn, another solid qualifying effort by the 5 team, will start in P number 10.
those next 2 that are lined up, you got Tyler and Grant Humphrey right next to each other. These guys do not leave each other's side, so no surprise to see they're starting 11th and 12th respectively. Starting 13th, we got Tyler Waltz. 14th, we got Mason Hall. 15th, as we mentioned, we got Frank Zingen. 16th, we got Todd Parent. 17th, Steve Ritter. 18th, Connor Dudek. 19th will be Chris Progar, and rounding out the top 20 will be Scott Simley. Scott is second in points, so we'll see where he can dig deep because, yeah, it's as we mentioned, this is not an easy track to pass on.
No, it's not. And then rounding out the rest of the field, Dan Holcroft in 21st, Nick Barton 22nd, Evan Fuqua 23rd, Eli Raposa in 24th, Arabia Kate in 25th, Mike Wolf 26th, Josh Parker, our points leader, 27th, Dylan Hinton 28th, and James Hitzloff not making the call here for the green. As here we go, Brandon, pace cars off, and we get ready to rock and roll here tonight at Homestead.
Yeah, there it is. Green flag is out, Brett, and I am. These first few laps, as we mentioned, everybody's on ice now, and we're right on top of each other. So these first few laps going to be really about trying to just get your track position, try to start riding, and really get some heat in these tires so you can really start racing. Because I know most times you want to get as much as you can on the restarts, but it is really hard to do here. You don't want to just overstep your boundaries too quick, because if you slip that tire, you're going to pay for it for even longer.
Yeah, exactly. And you pay for a mistake early on, right away. You get something hot right from the rip, and you know it's taking a little bit. You're getting eaten up by the cars around you. It's overall a bad time here. But like you said, Brandon, guys going for a little bit of track position. We're seeing a lot of 2 and even some 3 wide, as that's kind of, you know, you can see that at this place, right? Multi-groove, and you can kind of run wherever you want, even though with the next gen car, you know, we don't see as many people running the fence.
Yeah, it's definitely it's not as much of a fence dominant track as what it once was. I mean, at least on iRacing it's not. I mean, in the real life you'll still see guys ripping the fence, and obviously it's still the faster line, but right now you're seeing guys all over the place. And the 2 guys that I'm watching most is Parker and Simley. The guys 1, 2 in points. They're trying to come up through the field right now, and those are the guys that are pressing it. 3 wide, as we see Scott right there. He's kind of getting pressed 3 wide right here, unless he dove it in the middle. But they know how crucial this track position is, and with each car, it's crazy how much dirtier it's like a funnel. And the deeper you are in the field, the more you're at the back half of that funnel, where it's spread out and there's just no clean air on the track. So it's hard to find any when you're way in the back, and you're going to be seeing these guys at times maybe even 4 wide.
Yeah, it definitely could be a possibility here tonight. Even in 1 and 2, I thought maybe a few cars, you know, even got the Homestead stripe. Some cars already right against the fence here early on, and I think that becomes, like you said, Brandon, getting out of that dirty air, trying to find that clean air. Even if it's up against the fence, it's better than being right behind a driver and using a little bit extra steering wheel and putting that extra temperature in those front tires.
Yeah, and here's another guy to watch tonight, the 48 car. He won here, I don't know, we were here probably 3-4 months ago with the previous season. He won the race here. I think it was a side-by-side with his brother coming to the line. So watch the Humphreys again. I mentioned that they were side-by-side. It looks like Grant's fallen back a little bit, just a couple spots behind his brother, but just keep an eye on both of those guys tonight. They'll be ones to watch as well.
Yeah, that they will be. Of course, Grant Humphrey winning the last one, like you said, Brandon. And, you know, Homestead, a popular track, especially on the sim and in the 802 League. This is one of the few tracks that has been in all 7 seasons so far. Of course, here tonight, the 7th running of the Homestead race. Yeah,
it's just, it's one of the more fun racing tracks that you have. I mean, it's multi-groove, it's high tire wear, it just puts on for great racing. And I mean, you could see why like NASCAR in the real life has moved it back to like their season finale. For one, we don't get the weather aspect, obviously. We don't get to enjoy the nice Miami weather playing it on the sim, but you could see why they do it. It's in a great climate, and then it's just great racing overall. And for all the series, I mean, we've raced obviously the next gens here. I believe we will be racing the ARCA Enhanced, the ARCA Cup car that we have going on. We'll race that one here. We've raced the Xfinity car here when we had that series last year, or the O'Reilly car, excuse me. And we just raced it last Tuesday, Brett. I mean, me and you, we were out there racing the truck there, and it's just a great racing track, and it doesn't matter what vehicle you're in, it seems.
Yeah, that it is. As now we got a battle for the race lead here. Chance Griffith, the last couple laps, has been running that top side, you know, maybe building up that momentum, trying to see what kind of run. Well, he definitely took it down in 3 and 4, and he'll lead the lap. So new race leader out in front, Chance Griffith to the point here over Anthony Calatoni. Yeah. And look at this, John Crosby sneaking on into the picture here early as well.
Yeah, and as you can see, obviously we haven't been tracking these guys. We're not watching every single lap. We're going through the field, but from the last 2-3 laps I'm watching, John's kind of doing my line here that I was running Tuesday. Low and slow, just the whole run. Just save your tires as much as you can, and it'll pay off if this thing can keep going green and green. Like, where Chance and Anthony are running, it's a little bit faster at the time being, but it's going to get to the point where that bottom lane and John's going to keep creeping up faster and faster. Like, Anthony will get a good run here possibly. Yeah, and he'll keep to his outside, and John can't get clear, and then right back in, because you can see it. John gets ahead of him, and he can almost clear him every time on the bottom, but as this run goes later and later, and Anthony's going to have to get off the throttle even more and more on that outside, that bottom line will eventually prevail, and just keep them tires underneath that car. That's the key. And as we see John John does get the advantage here, and if he wanted to, he could kind of do what Chance did to Anthony a couple laps ago, slide up and take that air away from Anthony, where he has to lift even more. Even though he's already clear, he can make Anthony back off even more just by getting him a little bit tight right there.
Yeah, so here we go. Chance Griffith now to the point. John Crosby up into second. Anthony Calatoni third. Rob Lowell trying to get fourth away from his teammate Johnny Barker will do that. So now Rob Lowell on the move to the outside of Calatoni here down the front straightaway. And here comes Kip Easley and Mike Kelly as well right behind them.
I want to mention it's surprising to see Rob on the wall right now early in the run. Obviously there's speed up there, but it's surprising to me to see Rob in a sense pushing it this early in a run. I know you watch a lot more of these races than I do, Brett. I'm usually focused on my own car and stuff, but I've raced with Rob a lot, and he's usually one to really be conservative on his tires, and it seems like he's going right for it right here. And I think it's because he knows about, like what we've talked about a few times, clean air.
Yep, I think so as well. And yeah, if there's a few of those teams, that look at the long run speed, the race pace kind of, it's definitely these Wolfpack racing drivers. And yeah, right now Rob Lowell definitely kind of on the attack, on the gas pedal here, trying to get up through this field. As same with the 22 now of Mike Kelly trying to get around Kip Easley up on the top side. And yeah, I'm pretty impressed to see this track already kind of fanning on out like it is, because usually as the sun sets, we see more and more cars migrate to the bottom side, right? But guys ripping this top side here.
Yeah, and it's I want to say the little bit of a different factor is I think most times we start this race, we're starting a little bit earlier in the day. We're usually transitioning a little bit more. We're already into the nighttime pretty much. It's not fully night yet, but it's basically there. And I think that's why we're seeing the top being so dominant already early in this race. I mean, I don't know what you think on that, Brett, but I think that's usually, like, as you watch the race progress, that's usually when the race or the track starts widening out even more. So I think that's kind of playing into some of these guys' favor, but I'm curious, how is this going to play on the long run? We've seen, these guys, I get that the track's a little bit cooler, probably it's gripped up, but you would think they're probably burning their stuff up a little bit more, just ripping this top right now. And I still think that the low and slow line will prevail if we get that long run, but if we get these short spurts of runs, like that top could be the advantage all night.
Yeah, it could be. And one kind of staying on that low and slow line, the 71 machine of Jamison Heath here in this Mountain Dew machine has been on the bottom or the middle all night long, but he has lost track position because of it. He is already down 9 spots from where he started, though. We could easily see that, start to turn into one
you see that?
car.
Just one just pounded the wall back there.
Yeah, I believe that was Evan Fuqua in the 76 machine. Absolutely got a huge hit to that outside wall. It looks like that car kind of rebounded at least a little bit in the damage department, but man, that was a huge hit. Not sure if he got loose or what, but that was a big hit there.
That stopped us right on our tracks. I think that was Steve Ritter right behind him, so good for Steve to, I think, kind of swerve down and avoid that, or maybe even if it was Hinton that got up there, but great job by all the drivers to kind of keep this going green here. And as we see, Jameson must have got loose there or something, but
yeah, way off the pace.
He still seems underpowered. It sounds like he just shifted, so might have just got loose and had to downshift and recorrect it, but it's getting to that part of the run, Brett, where and as we see, Rob's still ripping the top. He's moved up into second now, and I think he's going to have a little bit more tough time here. Chance kind of running the same line as him, so we'll see what kind of air Rob can get on that nose to keep the car turning up top, or if he tries to fade down to the bottom a little bit more.
Yeah, and Brandon, I didn't give you a chance too much to talk about with that truck race we had, on last Tuesday night, of course, here at Homestead. That race, we saw a lot of strategy come into play, a lot of different factors go into it, especially late. But here in this one thing that, kind of caught people off guard was how loose that truck was as the banking started to go away, especially on the top side. Those things could get squirrely, and that's the kind of a common theme, right, with these next-gen cars and the low-profile side tires. So how do you think that's going to come? Because we maybe even saw, maybe the 71 a little bit loose on corner exit, maybe the 76, and, that's only going to get worse as the run continues to go on.
it's gonna get a lot worse, and especially if you are deeper in traffic where there could be like this right here. These guys are on each other's door, and that's
Yeah,
not
they
helping either one of them. And it's especially not helping the guy on the bottom, which is really scary. But as we see, Grant clears him there, so yeah, we're getting there. And the thing about the truck, I feel, is it does have a little bit more sidewall on the tire. You can save the truck a little bit easier. I still think you can save this next gen. I think a lot of us have figured out how to kind of drive through them, but it's obviously, I would say it's a lot less of a percentage that you will save it. There is a way to do it. It's just not going to work every time. So the next gen's still very unpredictable, but this is one of those tracks where it's kind of like, it's as I've said during qualifying, it's like an ice rink. It can get really slippery, greasy, grimy, just based on the Florida weather. I think even in the sim, like that humidity and stuff, I think that all plays into it. So not sure what the weather is playing in the sim for this race, but as we see,
I think Tony got loose off of 4 as well.
That moment, so
yep.
It's going to happen in lap 20 in this run until I don't know what the fuel run in this. I think it's about 55 laps, maybe 60. So we're not even halfway through this run. We see a past champion. We've seen Jameson Heath, who's had a lot of good runs. Just the car just steps out, so it's going to get edgy here for the next 35, 40 laps, unless these guys want to short pit it. So we'll see what happens. I don't even know if they can make it the whole run on fuel.
Yeah, it's going to be very
interesting. Do one stopper.
Yeah.
It's kind of very similar to where we were in the truck. The truck was very much, are you going to make it on one stop? And it was very close. It was very close. So I like that. I like the guys that kind of go for it. We've seen, as we were looking on screen, we see Scott Simley. He's done that in Vegas. Very good fuel saver. He can stretch some fuel. We've seen a lot of guys do it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I think I'm pretty good at stretching some fuel, but obviously I'm not on track. But you kind of know guys that are willing to take that gamble, because it is a gamble, because you end up being so much slower sometimes at the end of runs.
And it's a bit of racecraft too, right? Because like you say, you're so much slower than the car, and you know, especially driver's instinct, right? You see someone in front of him, you're like, oh, I gotta go chase him down. You know, I gotta go get that thing out there in front of me. Gotta go as hard as I can each lap. And the guys that can stretch fuel, you know, it does take a whole different mindset of, you know, hey, I need to maybe give up time here to hopefully get it back later in a run.
Yeah, and there's just some tracks where it's just like it's not possible. Just it's really on tracks where you can be off throttle a lot, and that really helps you obviously in the fuel saving department if you want to keep speed in the truck or the car or anything.
Yeah, because I mean, even, you know, I want to say, besides this race, because we haven't seen it unfold, I mean, throughout this week in 802, it's been kind of strategy, both Homestead, New Hampshire, I mean, even Richmond, we got into green flag pit stops, and, you know, that was a whole strategy, too, because people were blowing their right fronts in the first 60 laps, like good old Richmond, you know, that you had to really save your stuff, so it's been a wild one, and, you know, if we go 4 for 4 for strategy races, it wouldn't surprise me with this group.
Nope, and that's one thing I love about all the 802 leagues is there's a lot of clean racing, and a lot of it all comes down to strategy calls that you have to make as not only the driver of the car, but you're also like the crew chief in a sense. Luckily, we don't have all these other adjustments where we can be changing tire pressures and all that stuff. As much as I'd like it, I think that would put more stress on me now that I think about just being able to call, like, am I taking tires this pit stop or not? Like, that's enough of strategy calls.
Exactly, yeah, you throw in a little adjustment wrench in everything, you're going to be juggling a lot on your mind each and every lap, and here we go. We see a battle between the top two in points as now here comes Josh Parker trying to make his way through the field, and I tell you what, I've been surprised. Simley has been held up by this 11 car. Chris Progard doing a great job hanging on to that. Just as I was saying that, announcers jinx to the 11, hard into the outside wall. He'll keep it rolling as hopefully everyone gets on by.
Yeah, keep her low. And yeah, that was a moment Scott Simley was whoo, that got my heart beating there too. But we keep it green here, and yeah, a string of bad luck for Progar continues.
Yeah,
He's one of those guys, kind of like Mike Kelly, just cannot buy good luck right now.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. It actually looks like he's going to get it safely to pit road, at least down on the access road. So we'll stay under the green flag conditions. Out in front, Chance Griffith stretched out his race lead here to about a second now over John Crosby, who's jumped in a second. I say let's ride on board with our race leader here. See how close he is getting to the wall, because he has went up to the wall and hasn't left this line. Check this out. That time, of course, doesn't put it as much as the fence as you would think Homestead, but it's a fine line, and even at Homestead, right, Brandon? You gotta give yourself a little bit of buffer room. This will be a lot closer here in 3 and 4, where he enters right on the fence, and woo, I think that time might have got
maybe a little
there.
kiss. That's all right. The next gen can take a little kiss sometimes.
Yeah, that it can. But right there in 3 and 4,
I think he's stretching it out too. So
yes, finding
and we
time.
See he does kind of get up there a little bit, but he kind of diamonds it a little bit more in 1 and 2. It looks like Brett. Just maybe kind of save some tire in it. But as I'm looking at the ticker, it looks like Crosby's kind of low and slowly starting to reel him back in.
Yeah, that ES73 machine still on the bottom side. And Brandon, I'm surprised the diamond lines in 1 and 2, because 3 and 4, has that really bad bump right where we saw Chance Griffith get a piece of the wall. And usually people are trying to avoid that. I know when I'm behind the wheel, that's always at the forefront of my mind, let's say, at this racetrack. And yeah, right behind Crosby, another car on the bottom, Mike Kelly getting around Rob Lowell for third. So the 22 machine as well here marching on up through this first long green flag run.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention on the 21, I wonder if Rob kind of burnt his stuff up here a little bit. He seems like he's kind of fading back slowly, not dramatically, but now we see Johnny starting to come back towards him, and I'm just wondering if the outside line maybe, because we also mentioned Chance kind of starting to get reeled in a little bit. I wonder if that outside line is eating them tires up more than what these guys are anticipating.
Yeah, because of course that higher line, longer distance to go around the racetrack, got to keep an extra, momentum, extra speed in the race car. That usually leads to extra wear. Yeah, Brandon, you're on it, because look at John Crosby now within 1.6 of Chance Griffith. So we'll see if the 39 has some more speed. And look at this, Cal Tony outside of the top 10 after that moment off of turn number 2, I believe. He is now trying to get back in the top 5 here after starting on the pole, as he tries to split him 3 wide as Rob Lowell gets a piece of the wall as well.
Yeah, and I think that kind of made Anthony back off just slightly, but yeah, the thing about the bottom, and if you could really hit that line, kind of think the same logic I said during qualifying, where these pro drivers were using the paint. I think it's a very fine line, because sometimes that paint, if you get below it, you get on that little bit of like opposite the flat more of the racetrack. It'll make the car just come around. So it's a very fine line, but I think if you can paint that paint on the inside line, there's a little bit extra grip down there too that's helping these guys in the bottom.
Yeah, that there definitely is, as we go 2 by 2, 2 rows deep here, as Cal Tony tries to work over Barker. And now here comes the 7 machine of Tyler Humphrey now getting around Rob Lowell, and almost in the back of Johnny Barker there, as that front end takes off with that dirty air. And look at Tyler, just has to lift that little bit, and that gives enough run to Rob Lowell to shoot back to the inside here.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen Rob on the bottom, and he's trying, but I just think those tires might be gone from the outside, and how much he was even pushing on the outside also plays a factor. I think you can be a little conservative on the outside, but I think he wanted that clean air and get up front so bad that it might have burnt him up just a little bit more than he was anticipating.
Yeah, definitely could be the case, as everyone's starting to get more and more spread on out here. Our Josh Parker update here. He's side by side with Tyler Waltz for the top 10. So Josh Parker continuing to, pick them up and put them down in yet another race, as Parker makes his way inside of the top 10. And yeah, Brandon, you mentioned, the paint and whatnot. I'm always a big preacher of run the bottom at every track you can, and especially if they got some paint, on the banking and not on the apron, there's a little bit of speed to that as well, but you got to be really good at hitting your marks to hit it.
Yeah, it's a very fine line. And it can make the car more upset than you want it to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, it can definitely catch you off guard, you know, if you're not expecting it, get in the throttle and have that left rear kind of go on around maybe on you or whatnot. As here we go, 27 machine kept easy. He's another one starting to fade a little bit more here as this run goes on, as easily I think fades now to about, it looks like the 16th position, as right now cars, you know, 2+ car lengths away from one another. So this field's spreading on out as this run continues to develop.
Yeah, and obviously two of the biggest movers, I mean, Josh Parker, Scott Simley. We've seen some guys kind of just maintaining and holding ground. So I'm starting to wonder, as we're getting into that window, if do you want to two-stop this race? Or are you going to try to stretch this and make this a one-stop race? Because we're getting to lap 40. That's your 3 segments, 40, 40, 40, 40, 80, 120. So this is kind of where we're going to start seeing decisions made, if these guys are going to stretch it or they're going to just short pit this with 2 stops. So I'm excited. I'm not excited. I'm curious to see what some guys are picking for strategy. Because you look at, like, we're on board with Steve right here. Steve has not made the ground that I thought he would on the bottom. Usually he kind of does that low and slow and makes his way forward, but kind of just sitting right around where he qualified. Same thing with Frank. Frank qualified 15th. He's running 14th still. So while the low and slow is working in a sense, it doesn't seem like they're making up as much ground as they probably anticipated. Here we go. Kip's pitting. He's going to be one of the ones to do the 2 stops. So
yeah, we were just talking
he was
about
one of the ones that were fading. Yep.
So first taker to pit road going to be the 27 machine here on lap 41. Now it becomes of, hey, when does the next guy continue to want to roll the dice, and who will be the next taker? Because as we know, you time it right, get out there in clean air and some fresh tires, you make up a lot of ground to people kind of trying to run the race pace on out. Because last time by, we see a lot of cars, you know, in the 34s, high 33s, where the best times have been about 32.0. So you could definitely make up a second or so with some fresh tires around on your car.
Yeah, and talk about making up a second. We got a guy, John Crosby, who is now within car lengths.
Yeah,
Almost
to the inside there. Wow.
And we have a battle almost. Yeah, we got a battle for the lead here. And John has caught him from about 2 seconds back here in the last 10, 15 laps. And right here, we're going to see where that low and slow is going. And here we go with another guy, pit strategy, Scott Simley in. He's going to do the 2-stopper. Brad, is there damage on the right front of that car?
There is, and our first caution is out right
caution
before.
Here.
Yeah, all the kind of maybe craziness can unfold. We get our first caution, and it's the driver's second in points. Big time implications here. Scott Simley on pit road with a lot of damage. Let's take a look, see what happened. As oh man, that car already hurt.
The right front is broke on that car, and yeah, that's not turning the way he wants it to be. That's that might be a night ender here. And
wow, that happened early on, because I think it might have happened even off of turn number 2. And holy smokes!
Whoa, that's a big hit. Yeah.
Yeah,
he got loose, and I think it looks like maybe an overcorrection there, Brett.
Yep, I think so. It kind of snapped, and then the classic, right, especially with these next-gen independent rear ends, man, you load up that left rear, and that thing will just shoot straight to the right on you, and that's what happened there to the 33 machine, trying to keep it out of the way here, and I think just brought it on out there for our first caution. So kind of throws a wrench in everyone's plans, let's say, for maybe pit strategy, but now everyone gets to at least come down on pit road together.
Yeah, everybody will pit. Obviously, Kip Easy will stay out, probably get a wave around if he went a lap down, which I assume he did. But yeah, this is you ain't worried about making it a 1-stop, but you're gonna have to make another stop now. There's no way these guys can go. I know I may not know the fuel load, but they cannot go 80 or 75 laps.
Yep. Yeah, definitely at least one more pit stop here in their future. So we see the field here now trying to catch the pace car and all that. And I tell you what, Brandon, you said you weren't here on Sunday night, but you were having some fun this weekend, checking out some real life racing over at Richmond, right?
Yep, we went. We made the trip down to Richmond Thursday night, and kind of got rained on a little bit. I mean, we went. So if anybody's following the old 802 Facebook, we went live a couple times. It was so hot, Brett. My phone sometimes would have to cut the broadcast because it would say that my phone was too hot to be functioning. It would just shut down.
Yep.
And I would have to cool down. I went. Luckily, I had pit passes, I had garage passes, so I'd just go stand in the shade by a fan that was in one of the garage stalls and just cool the old phone down. But it was a great time. I think they said it on the Door Bumper Clear podcast about how Richmond's almost like a Darlington-esque like strategy race, and I think that's why I love it. I love watching all the guys. It's just a different strategy. I wish there was no stage cautions because it would be even more wild strategy in my opinion. I love entering turn one sometimes, and just watching, like it was SVG, Connor Zilich, and eventually Chris Buescher was doing. They were staying up on that wall and they were ripping the third lane. And I'm like, man, that just looks so badass. Like, that's just so good. And I think it's just one of the best racing tracks with combination of tire wear. And I get it's not the action track that it used to be, but it puts on for some great racing, and the fan access is great. And just if you're ever looking for a good little weekend, and I'm kind of disappointed. I'll be going back next year, obviously. Again, the trucks will not be there. Apparently, they have Xfinity or the O'Reilly cars going, which will be fine. But there's something about those trucks, and you stand next to them, and they're so short, man. Like it's crazy how much taller I am than the NASCAR truck.
Wow, really? It's shorter than you think.
And I'm not that tall. I'm not like trying to say I'm tall. It's just it's crazy how low these trucks sit, and the thing looks like it's right on the ground too. It's just mind blowing how they sit. But yeah, awesome weekend, and I recommend anybody out there just go to a race. Like you get like these broadcasts are great, watching the races are great, but there's just something about being there and feeling it. It's a different sensation. So that's one thing I love is just the sound. There you don't get that real authentic sound, but
no, that's at least one thing they definitely did right with the next gen car, right? Is the exhaust on these things, they still sound pretty mean.
Oh yeah, they're loud. I have yet to wear earplugs there. I'm starting to think I might need to, because by the time I sit back in my car after the race, I'm like, I cannot hear anything.
Woo!
Like it's kind of like a ringing noise for like an hour, but
oh yeah,
it looks like we're doubled up. Lights are out, and it looks like we're about to go back racing here, Brett.
Yeah, first choice of the night going to the 73 machine, and John Crosby won the race off of pit road. Chooses to start on the outside lane here, so we'll see how that works on out as we fire on off, and we head back to green flag racing here as everyone trying to get up through the gears. Some guys a little bit better starts than others, but everyone makes it down into turns 1 and 2 here.
Talk about a guy who made some moves on the pit stop. Parker was 10th last we knew, Brett. He restarted 5th, and he's already going for 3rd here, 3 wide on the bottom. Kelly. And Johnny Barker.
Yeah, Johnny Barker going to go on around. Luckily, does not get hit. I think the 5-car Brandon Hinton around as well. But, man, that could have been a lot bigger than it was. But luckily, only 2 cars.
There's a caution. I was going to say, we were still green somehow, Brett.
Yeah, sadly, I have to kind of throw them at least in the overlay. The caution lights are accurate, but with the race replay, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, and that's why it shows it's the 0th caution, if that ever makes sense, right?
that now makes sense. I was like, huh, interesting, but yeah, unfortunate there for Johnny. Obviously, qualified on the front row, always has speed, and we'll have to get back and we'll check out what happened there, but that could have been a lot bigger because, like, It's kind of like I said on the initial thing on the race. This is one lap into the restart, and there's low grip, and it looks like Johnny maybe got tight and just
Yeah,
loose
maybe.
and got up into Humphrey and
Yep.
maybe turned himself a little bit. But
Yeah, maybe.
you're watching right here. You're waiting for everybody to pile in.
Exactly. The field does a great job avoiding the 6 car, spinning right across the track. And it looks like Brandon Hinn maybe just in the brakes a little bit with the 5 machine. And that's easy to do with these cars. I mean, with the amount of rear brake and how good these brakes are, you just tap them a little bit too much and they can send these things careening one way or another. I definitely know that as well.
Yeah, that's one of the scariest things about when I'm racing this car or any car, because how much rear brake I run is having to get on the brakes too hard, and usually that can cause something bigger than the wreck itself that happens. So very easily to do is self spin right there. And as we see, I wonder if these guys maybe topping off. They can't be getting tires again.
Yeah, I don't think getting tires again, but interesting call here. Josh Parker getting up all that track position, going to give it on up here down on pit road, the 7. Probably going to come down to evaluate any sort of damage because he was the car that got pinched up into the wall. But also we see 23 of Joe Hudson down. Same with Steve Ritter. So maybe they're closer on fuel than we think, and maybe some guys maybe a little bit optimistic here.
They got to be optimistic because most likely we'll restart with 70 or 69 laps to go, and it's been a while since I've raced here in the next gen. So I thought it would be maybe like 55 to 60. So 9 laps is a lot to stretch it if my math is right, but my math could also be wrong. So it'll be interesting to see. They could be banking on cautions. Who knows? But 3 guys trying a little bit different strategy, and I think the logic behind each one of these is Joe is probably running about mid-pack. Steve is kind of running where he qualified, and Josh Parker's already drove up through the field once in his eyes, so he thinks he could probably do it again, and they're just going to try to hopefully see if this thing can go green, but cautions breed cautions, especially on these older tires.
Yeah, that they do. That could definitely be the case here as we get them double filed here and get ready to go. And once again, now it's going to be John Crosby and now Anthony Calatoni on the front row. Row number 2, Chance Griffith, Mike Kelly. And then row number 3 is Grant Humphrey and Rob Lowell. So, and then take a look, row number 4, Frank Zingen now up to 7th and Todd Perot in 8th as well. So some names starting to creep back up towards the front here as this race now 50 laps in of the 120. And like we just saw, Brandon, right? The last caution coming after another caution. Fields bunched up here. This is where you can really make up a lot of spots, but it's also the kind of sketchiest time, right? Everyone on top of one another. This is where it gets wild.
Very sketchy. I mean, I guess these guys have been out there pacing. Maybe could get some heat in the tires, but they're still fresh tires. They're still maybe a little bit cold, so... as we saw, this is the time if you want to make up position. So here we go. They're about to fire, and Crosby gets another great launch from the outside.
Yeah, that he does. He is clear into turn number 1. Will drive. Looks like all the way down to that bottom side. So top 3 all going to be on the bottom. First car up top is Chance Griffith, followed by the 21 machine. So we'll see how they go down the backstretch here. Once again, under power here.
I'm interested to see how Rob runs this next run.
Oh, his contact here, Mike Kelly and Chance Griffith. Somehow Kelly hangs out of that race car. Oh, Rob Lowe gonna get tagged.
Oh, this is gonna pile up. Oh man, but yeah. I was just about to say, I wonder how Rob is gonna run this next run, knowing they'll probably have to split this in half possibly and just rip in the top again, but this one could be terminal.
Yeah, that car definitely going to have heavy front end damage. Definitely even some on the rear end as well. So let's try and see what maybe happened here. We'll take a look at the impact for that 21 machine as the 22 are already sideways on that racetrack. And you can see, yeah, big time hit there with maybe a little bit of assistance of some net code. And man, Frank Zingen just able to squeak on through, and then 21 machine, probably luckily for the field, ends up right against the wall, so they can all kind of merge down to the bottom side. As I think the 81
looks like
got
Hinton maybe got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he definitely got a big piece of it. Then got the wall as well, and I'll try and go back here, see where the contact started, and see what that looked like going into turn number 3. Maybe two drivers fighting for the same real estate. I mean, that is definitely known to happen right here at Homestead.
Yeah, I wonder if it was Chance Griffith, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, 39's
like
right there. So.
Oh, now we go too far back. Let's see if we can find the magic here. Sadly, it's not an incident because the 22 kept it mostly under control. So
yeah, he did until he gets into Rob. So
yeah, we'll watch full speed here down the back straightaway, and we'll take a look kind of going into turn number 3.
I think Chance gets a run, and he wants to get to the bottom. It looks like they kind of just meet in the middle there a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
It looks like Chance wasn't ready to go commit fully to the bottom. He was going to arc it in more. Kelly wanted to get more middle, and just that's how I'm seeing it right there in quick fashion replay. And just again, one lap in on the restart here. So these guys know they got to get what they can get at the time, and it's led to back-to-back cautions here and a couple of really good race cars torn up.
Yeah, exactly. No cautions in the first 40 laps. Well, now in the 40 to 50 lap window, we've had 3 in a row now. So, as old Darrell Waltrip once said, right, Brandon? Cautions breed cautions, and that's the case here tonight at Homestead.
Yes, cautions do breed cautions. And so, bro, I've loaded up my sim. I've loaded into Homestead, and without even turning a lap, so I wonder if it changes a little bit. But this thing says I can make it 67.4 laps.
Wow.
So now the caution has come out. Obviously, it changes things a little bit, but as we see a bunch more guys, obviously the ones with damage coming in to get them fixed, but a bunch more guys coming in. Yep, as Parker tops off again, actually.
Yep. So he sees
that
fuel window.
He's in his full window. Yeah, he's in the window now. So Steve Ritter and all these other guys kind of involved in the incidents probably getting some damage fixed.
Yeah, it looks like even Scott Simley
might be the only other one.
At least rolling out of his pits. Not sure if he's on the lead lap or, multiple laps down being involved in an earlier caution, but he is down to top off on some fuel. Like you said, Arabia also down in a way here, so he could be looking good in the fuel department. And he's another one, he'll click off laps, and if he has enough fuel, this thing goes green to the end, he could be sitting in a really good spot as well.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes all you got to do is have quiet nights, and you never know, you'll end up in the points.
Yeah, that is definitely the case here, as at the start-finish line, going to have to choose for the race leader. And once again, John Crosby has a choice, decides to choose the outside lane, so lights will go on out. And, those corner entry wrecks like we saw there, Brandon, very tough to kind of put 100% maybe fault on someone or someone like that. But whose job is it to take care of another car when it comes to kind of incidents like that? Because as we saw there, things happen quick, especially in corner entry.
In that one, I think you're hoping the guy on the bottom, like if I'm Mike, I'm hoping the guy on the bottom is giving me a little bit more lane to run the middle. Not just anticipating I want to run the top, but he also doesn't have to run the bottom. What if he wants to run the middle and he's got to run the bottom? So it's very 50-50, and it just, that's why, like, most of the time I like to think I have good camaraderie with most guys that I race with, and they will give me that lane, kind of anticipating maybe where they know I'll run, but they don't have to. So it's a hit or miss battle, and yeah, unfortunately, like I mentioned with Chris Boga earlier, Mike Kelly has not had much luck in that department either. So yeah, we'll get ready to get the restart going here, and let's see if John can get another great launch.
Yeah, that he does into the restart zone once again, goes early, gets a good launch on the field, will get clear into turn number 1, so he'll slide across the nose of that 84 machine as we head back up to speed. And yeah, that's kind of the one good thing, right, with league racing, is you kind of get to know the tendencies of other drivers, right? And that becomes a huge kind of advantage, but also a good comfort point to kind of know what to expect out of certain people. As, oh, I thought I heard someone hit the wall. Yes, we do. The 71 machine here looks like stopped on track. And it looks like now 4th caution in a row here as another incident down the back straightaway. Man, did someone put a curse on the backstretch at Homestead here tonight?
We experienced this Tuesday with the trucks. We had that first really good run. And then obviously this race was in the night the whole time, but track got grippier, and then you get that restart and just these guys want to go. They want to get some track position and try to sort it out a little bit. I think that's more where I'd be settled in at this point, where all right, we've gotten about 3 cautions in a row. We got to start taking care of each other a little bit more. And it just looks like maybe, oh man, that's a big hit by Kip. My goodness.
Yeah, that was one of those massive hits where it's all 4 wheels off the ground. We're going to try and maybe back that up, get a little bit slower. Is it maybe
I think maybe a little door bang with
the 71 and the 31? Because I think that was Dan Holcroft here. Let's see if this will show it maybe a little bit better. Yeah, when I go to this camera, for some reason they are showing us the lake here. We'll try and go, how about to here, see if this will show us a good one. As now it looks like they're already out of the way. And like you said,
yeah, a little bit right there. Just they kind of meet in the middle, and it just upsets Jameson's car. And then Kip's trying not to run into him, but Jameson's still a little loose, and then it just hooks them both. And unfortunately, Kip's the one that pays more for this. I'm not sure. Jameson gives it a little kiss. He might have a little bit of damage, but he's got nothing compared to what the innocent aspects bystander kind of got out of that. So unfortunately for Kip, we have another torn up car, and yeah, hopefully these guys kind of settle it down here. We get back to some green flag racing like we've had.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. And yeah, surprisingly, like you said, Brandon Jameson Heath, his car looking pretty good with that contact. You know, not too much, if any, damage on the nose of that race car. And actually, we got an update from the YouTube chatters. Tyler Humphrey said, yeah, he came down pit road, thought he had damage when he got squeezed in the wall. Didn't have any damage from iRacing as well. So the classic next-gen damage model, right? It's the old roll of the dice on if you have anything or don't.
Yep, it's a gamble sometimes with this car, and it's wild to me. Sometimes you can come in, you have no damage from a hit, and then sometimes you've broken the toe link in the car and your night's done. It happened to me. We were at North Wilkesboro, Brett, in the Elite Series, and lap 3, my car looked not too bad, but I got hit in the left rear, and they said we were done. And the only thing that we could assume is somehow it broke the transaxle in the car, because the car was still running, it just wouldn't move. So just really weird stuff sometimes where the car can look fine, but you get more terminal damage than you think, and sometimes the car is destroyed and you can keep driving.
Yeah, it's definitely that X factor of iRacing, whether it's netcode or who knows what the magic secret sauce is. But it looks like Simley here, his car's looking halfway decent after, that first caution. He was the one that smacked the wall, tore that front end all up. He's looking halfway decent, as well as this caution now. He's the lucky dog and might be back on the lead lap, or at least get one of his laps back here in the 33 machine.
Yeah, and if you would have told me that he was going to keep running after that accident, I would have said nope. I would have assumed that he had a meatball after that wreck. But the car's fixed-ish. I'm sure he probably could still come down and get more internally, like we said, we can't see. But yeah, he's got a lap back, and he's grinding right now. This race is not even half over. So Scott knows that this race isn't over by a long shot, especially now knowing we've had Well, we're on caution number 4 now, Brett, and it's just been
Yep.
caution, caution, caution. So it's actually paying into Scott's favor.
Yeah, that it is, and drivers having an opportunity now to kind of top on off. No one has really taken that fuel, so maybe trying to stretch some extra distance out of these fuel tanks here. As here we go once again, another restart of the night. Crosby, Cal Tony on the front row. Now it's Grant Humphrey up to, I think, inside row number 2 with Frank Zingen to his outside, and Connor Dudek top row. How about Dudek in this 50 machine restarting in 5th? So here we go, iRacing pace car down onto pit road. 73 machine gun lead him back into the restart zone. Once again, a good restart by him as we get all up to speed. Crosby once again going to be clear into turn number 1. He will lead the way as we try and get drivers up to speed. And now once again down this treacherous backstretch here 2 by 2 through most of the field.
Yeah, and look at this guy who snuck up into 3rd here. A lot of accidents with the guys up front, and it's Frank, and we got a totally different looking top 10. I want to talk more about all these guys. We got Frank Zinian up there in 3rd. Obviously, we talked about how Grant would be a factor tonight, but we got Todd Perrin up there battling with him. Connor Dudek in 6th. Mason Hall's up there. Waltz, Wolf, and Barton. Like a bunch of names that we don't normally see up front with all this cycling, and it's good to see some new names up front here a little bit, shaking it up.
Yeah, that we are. Maybe some drivers, that don't have the greatest qualifying speed, but, by the end of the race can start to work their way up there. Well, here tonight, halfway at the start-finish line this time by, and they're already into the top 10, so that could be exciting here as we do get cross flags. And who will it be? Will it be Crosby or Cal Tony at the stripe? I think Cal Tony by inches leading at the cross flags.
And before we switch to this, Brett, you were just mentioning guys moving back up through the field. He ain't in the top 10 yet, but he's getting close, and I think he's there now. Parker's back up in the top 10.
Yeah, that
he is. He's pitted. He's known his strategy, and slowly but surely he's working his way back up through.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, are some of these drivers looking at that, that fuel in the car, trying to save, maybe 3 laps of fuel with all these cautions, whereas, Parker pitted on 53. You said the fuel window should be right around 67. This 26 can probably go for it right now, and it looks like that is the case here as he is slicing his dice. And as, man, that's a great battle with a whole gaggle of race cars right there at right around the top 10.
Yeah, and I just want to go back to what we were talking about when Scott Simley got his lap back. I'm looking on our ticker. It says he's 9 laps down, so Scott still has a little bit of work to get back up in the lead lap. But, hey, cars keep dropping out. That's why he's out there. Every point matters, so just figured we'd follow up on that. But, yeah, we got a battle here for the 10th position.
Yeah, that we do, and he will stay out here and try and get those valuable points, because when it comes to the Winston Cup Series, no resets or anything like that this season. It is season-long points, so every race, every lap matters when it comes to Sunday night.
Here we go.
Oh, big move there by the 71. Jamison Heath involved in this last caution, and he is driving his way through this field. Wow.
Now, I wonder if he took some tires. I wonder if he's got a little extra grip here. While there was just caution laps, I mean, Brett, how much, even if they are under caution, how much them restarts can burn up tires. And, I mean, it paid a benefit for you in that truck race. We didn't even mention when we brought it up that you were the winner in that race. So you did win recently here on this track, but it's crazy how much, even under caution laps and just a few restart refires, how much some fresh tires can matter at this track.
Oh yeah, big time, and especially like you said, those refires, the heat cycles of tires. A lot of people don't realize that, but that can really wear a tire and put a lot of, heat into the tire. And then once you get going, yeah, your tire might be still 98% or something like that, but it's gonna get to that higher temperature a lot quicker, and that can get that greasy sliminess that we see at Homestead, right? Classic of that. That only adds to that if the tire is then doing that on top of the racetrack.
Yep, exactly. But
yeah,
I wish I had the tracker to know if he took tires, because he is moving and he's catching Humphrey pretty fast right in front of him.
Yeah, so it shows Jamison Heath last down on lap 45. So when he did come down, it looks like maybe.
So he didn't even pit after he got the damage.
Yeah, he did not. He
he
actually
was
stayed out on track.
He was confident enough. He didn't hit it hard enough. Wow. Yeah, impressive then to see him moving his way back up through the field. And nice little battle here. Eli sliding up a little bit on Barton.
Yeah, those two going to be a drag race off of turn number 4 here. And then look at the guys behind him here, the drivers that did pit for fuel. Steve Ritter right there, Johnny Barker, and then Chance Griffith, the guy that led most of that first run, now deep in the field right around 17th position.
Yep, and he's feeling that dirty air. His car is not handling like it once was. And he's trying to make some moves, but it's just not as easy when you got a guy right there. You got one run in the wall, you got one run in the middle. They're all dirtying up that air. They're spread all over the track. That funnel is just dirty all for him. There's nowhere there is clean air, so it gets harder when you're in the back of the pack and you got guys running a variation of lines in front of you.
Yeah, that it definitely does. Up towards the front here, we got, looks like Mason Hall here side by side with Tyler Humphrey for the 8th position. Looks like Tyler going to hang on to that for the time being. Up towards the front though, race leaders once again checked on out here in this one. John Crosby, Cal Tony, you know, running nose to tail. They have driven away a little bit from Frank, but I'm sure that's all part of the plan though for all those cars, trying to, you know, see what they can do both in the fuel department as well as the car handling tire wear department.
Yeah, and my wonder here is these two guys are pushing. They pitted last on that caution when it was like 40, so I don't think these guys can make it. That's a very long time, even with the caution laps. Frank is somebody that can save fuel. I'm a teammate with Frank. I've seen him save fuel. We've done it many races together, and he's just as good as I think I am. And to see the kind of where the pace are, they're a couple seconds back. I wonder if that's kind of what their strategy is right now. But the guy that is not on that strategy, he probably doesn't have fresh tires, but he's got the fuel. And it's this guy that we're riding on board with right here. It's Josh Parker. He's making his way up. In that corner, he was up to 6th at one point. Kind of faded back. But he's just slow in the bottom. He's gaining on Frank and all these guys right here. Not gaining as much on the 2 leaders, but he's faster than these guys all ahead of him right here.
Yeah, and also, you know, the other X factor with the next gen car, there's that extra gear. There's 5th gear, right? So I wonder if a lot of these guys may be running the top or trying to save some fuel, leaving their car in 5th, where Josh Parker, you know, can bang 4th gear, burn a little bit extra fuel through the corner, but get that rotation that can have with that engine brake.
Yep, exactly. He can downshift. He can get it really rotating a little bit better and just get the sail off that he needs. So, as you said, he's got a little bit of some different advantages here that he can play with compared to these other guys.
Yeah, a little bit of strategy. And Brandon, you know I love strategy races. I love to do the off-ball kind of strategy, see if it'll one day work or whatnot. And man, Josh Parker right about there was in the middle of a Humphrey sandwich for a second, but now Josh Parker back down to the bottom side. We've seen him run there all night long, but still cannot get around this 9 car. I tell you what, Tyler Waltz doing a great job defending that spot as Parker blocks the 7 machine as he had a big run down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I think he did get a little bit of a shot there, but Parker kind of takes it and a little loose right there. You can see him get a little sideways, and he's slow to come up on Humphrey. He doesn't get all the way up on there, but
yeah, I was gonna say, if you make a block right, Brandon, you gotta commit to it, because you can get a big shot in the shorts, and if it's not square, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, if you want to get up in the lane, you better get up, because he's giving them a little bit of a run down the head. He got sent down to that corner right there. Right, you saw him get a little sideways. He slides up, kind of takes the air off Humphrey there, and we got quite the battle here for 4th place. Humphrey giving him another shove down the backstretch, it looks like again, and just...
Man, I tell you what, Brandon, this gives me flashbacks to the truck race here on Tuesday nights, and, you know, it was kind of the same thing. You know, you had a little bit of damage on your car, as, 3 wide here. Man, how'd they make that work?
I thought we were fixing to get ready to go 4 wide. Whoa. I was waiting. Oh, boy.
Woo-hoo. Todd Perot having to do a little bit of drift. Gonna kiss
the wall a little bit. That's all right. Drive through it. He's still good. Wow,
Wow.
man. This is wild racing here for fourth. And we still got 45 to go.
Yeah, that we do, and I tell you what, I bet you Josh Parker happy to see that now in his rearview mirror. He gets clear of this pack, so we'll see what he can do now with some clean air on the nose of that race car. But I was saying, Brandon, this reminds me, of Tyler Humphrey pushing these cars down the straightaway. We saw that even with the Truck Series, right? I remember pushing that one machine quite a few straightaways because, man, you could hit the top side and get some massive runs, especially with the draft.
Yeah, the draft on the trucks is so crazy. By the time you get about halfway down the straightaway, you're up on top of those dudes. And the next gen car kind of gives you that a little bit, as we see. Looks like he's gonna get a run. Yeah, Tyler's gonna get. Whoa! Oh, yeah. I think Tyler's been wanting to go for about 8 laps, and it all started when he got trapped kind of behind Josh Parker, and then he got trapped behind Perrant, and yeah, he's ripping the fence here, so he's fast. So we'll see what Tyler can do with Parker here, because Parker's not pulling away from him. He's kind of keeping up with him as they try to chase down Frank.
Yeah, he definitely was on a mission, and I go back, look at the season. I think every driver knows gotta keep that 26 behind. So I'm sure that's going a little bit into the factor of the 7 machine saying, hey, we got to keep tabs on Josh Parker here. If you can keep him in the rear view, even better. But trying to race that car a little bit harder because he's had a lot of success so far this season on Sunday nights.
Yeah, that he has. I mean, there hasn't been many nights where he's trekked into the pit area and not won the race. So having one of them epic type seasons, and yeah, it just shows with his racecraft how we've seen him go to the back a few times. He started in the back and was in the back a few times tonight, and he's worked his way to the front almost every single time.
Yeah, we see Connor Dudek here, Eli Raposa going at it for position. I believe that's about 16th position here on the speedway. Still Perot now under fire from Grant Humphrey. And here comes that 71 machine of Jamison Heath as well. And getting a little bit update from the Humphrey clan. They said the talk at this point in the race for their teams were fuel saving, fuel management, because they were about 3 laps or so off, maybe 4 at this point in the race. So 3 or 4 laps, that's a lot to make up under green flag conditions.
It is quite the hassle. But as I've always been told, never say never, but this one might be pushing it on the never say never.
Yeah, that it is. Some guys may be hoping for a caution now. Some guys definitely hoping this race goes green to the end. Has now battled for that 3rd position. Frank Zingen and Josh Parker. Parker made the move in 1 and 2 on the bottom side. Frank Zingen, though, going to try and cross him on over. Those 62 heading back up to the top side once again in 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think now where Josh is, he's kind of in the catbird seat. For one, he's got some clean air. The guys in front of him are about 4 seconds ahead, and they can't make it on fuel. So I think that's also in Josh's head. He knows he doesn't need to chase them down. So he can kind of, in his mind here, just ride and manage, because I think Frank would be one of the ones trying to stretch it. I don't know the last time Tyler pitted, or I feel like Waltz kind of might be on the same strategy as Frank, but with the way Tyler's pushing, I think he's good on fuel. So
yeah, Tyler,
I think that's kind of who Parker's racing, and it's once Josh gets control of a race, he's really good at keeping the air dirty on guys. Not like dirty racing, just what I'm talking about, the next gen car. Dirty air and just
disrupt
keeping
the
that
air
car
right?
behind him. Yeah, he can keep a car behind him really good.
Yeah, that he can. Tyler Humphrey last down on pit road on 48, so he was actually down on pit road after that 2nd caution, whereas most of these guys, down on that 1st caution, though, of course, Josh Parker down on that 3rd caution of the 4 there. So yeah, a lot to keep tabs on.
A lot of different guys trying to stretch it certain amounts. Yeah, I think it's a race from Josh Parker back in my eyes, because Crosby and Calantoni are the ones that would have to stretch it the furthest, and that math just doesn't add up. Even if that thing is accurate, which sometimes it's not until you run a few laps, you know, Brett. So it could be closer to 65-ish, but 13 laps is a lot of fuel to save, even under cautions. Those slew of cautions, they probably got it down to about 8, 9, and that's just.
I was gonna say single digit, right? But that's still a lot to do.
Wild to do when they're stretching out the lead.
Yeah, that they are. You know, Crosby and Calatoni now 4 seconds over Josh Parker. Rest of the field, though, kind of keeping tabs on one another. I'm kind of surprised Josh Parker now running away from Frank Zingen just a little bit more now outside of the draft, too, because that could be the other X factor, right, Brandon? Stay in someone's draft, get out at least of their draft through the corner, get some clean air on the nose of that race car, but then tuck back in, maybe go three-quarter throttles down the straightaway. You know, a lot that the drivers can try and do.
Yeah, and I think the problem is for like these 4 behind Josh is they all pitted a little bit earlier than him. And they have to try to save just a little bit more, where I think he's good to just be in the gas the whole time. I don't think, like, he doesn't need to be full throttle, but he just needs to manage where he's at, and I think he's sitting golden at this point.
Yeah, and you know, you wonder with the Josh Parker mindset, you know, I believe the previous race he did with the 802 was the Wednesday night New Hampshire race. In that race, you know, we saw some split strategy and then overall leaders having to pit under the green flag, and those drivers that topped off were able to save a little bit extra, right, Brandon? You're one of those cars, and you know, it paid off big time when it was all said and done.
Yeah, it did. And the thing with that is you have to, because you drive the car so much different, your tires will burn differently just based on how you're clutching it and having the car roll in the corner. You don't have that engine brake like you were mentioning earlier. Like, obviously, some of these guys aren't downshifting, but even staying in 5th gear, you have that engine brake where it's decelerating the car into the corner, and it's just using the brake can burn up a little bit too much tire sometimes. So it's as you said, it's a totally different type of racecraft. So the ones that can do it really well, where sometimes they don't even burn up their tires. Some of them just maintain good pace the whole run still and don't lose that much time.
Yeah, we ride on board here with Tyler Humphrey, kind of interesting there. Into 3, had a run, gave a shot to Frank Zingen and said, you know, taking the run. So that tells me maybe a little bit of fuel saving by the 7 machine at this point, just trying to click off those laps. And you can see the time fall off here, already over a second of fall off into this run, you know, and we already kind of have the same amount of laps that they took off their first set of tires. Already now on these tires, getting close to that 40, 50 lap mark set on tires here.
Yep, and as we saw earlier in the race, sometimes that first run, it takes you to kind of learn and get adjusted. Even after running a bunch of practice laps, it still does take that first run to kind of get to know what the car's going to do. So as we saw the first run, our tires were getting greasy after 25, 30 laps. So if this thing does go green, we're like, usually in typical Miami fashion is once we can get some green flag wraps going and the field spreads out, it tends to stay a green flag race. So we could be where we've made our bed tonight, and it's all about managing their tires. We see Tyler gets a great run on Frank here, but had to shift there and kind of really check the car up. And as we see, look at this guy just ripping the bottom. I think, as I mentioned, he might have took tires when he had his accident, but Jamison Heath has made his way up. He's battling for the top 5 now, Brett.
Yeah, that he is. That 71 machine rebounding after that spin, driving his way up into, like you said, the top 5. And there, another driver here deep in the field with the fuel strategy, making his way inside of the top 10. Chance Griffith in this 39 machine. He is up now into 8th. So we head back, though, to this good battle. I mean, a great 4-car battle right here on the speedway. I think Tyler Humphrey got a piece of the wall there. And you know, with these cars and with iRacing, with the soft wall, you get a piece of the wall and you got to really rip these cars off the wall sometimes to get them unstuck.
Yeah, it becomes like glue. It's crazy how much this car can get stuck. Basically, you have to hit the brake and really slow the car down to get off the corner. Like Tyler got loose. Tyler Waltz, excuse me, got really loose right there.
Yeah, he
underneath
did.
Grant. As he's trying to use as much track as he can to keep his momentum up, and he just had to put a little bit too much wheel into it and just started to lose it a little bit.
Yeah, that he did, and it's easy to do, especially with these next-gen cars, and that's kind of the one wild X factor I figured out, you know, with my limited seat time running with you guys with this cars. I'm amazed how you can break the right rear traction with just based on your wheel input, not even throttle, but you put too much wheel in it, and once the right rear gets worn, you can break the traction in the right rear, not even realizing it.
Yeah, it can just snap in an instant at that point, just by a little bit too much wheel. I mean, a good place to think of like where that happens, just where you guys race in the Elite Series, is Richmond. That's one of those tracks where you have to be so fine with where you have the wheel. You don't want to put too much input into it, especially with your throttle input too. It's such a fine line before you overstep it. As we see Jamison now making a move. Whoa, and he looked like he was looking outside, and then he dives it back inside on Frank here, and trying to make a move here for 4th place.
Yeah, that is a big-time move down the front straightaway to put the 71 machine on the bottom side, having that shorter distance. And I've been impressed with this track, Brandon. As the runs went on, we still haven't seen a lot of guys migrate down to the bottom. We've seen guys committed to the bottom throughout a run, but it seems like there's still time to be had on the top side, which kind of surprises me.
Yeah, it's really surprising to see, especially as we see Jamison way down as Frank got to run back to the outside. These guys are having quite the battle here for 4th, but if you can manage your tires up at the top, it seems like it could be there the whole run, but if you step over that line, you can also abuse them on the top really fast too.
Yeah, we got some green flag pit stops now.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tyler Waltz was in the top 5 here battling with these guys, and he must have made a green flag pit stop, and here he comes out with 25 to go.
Yep.
Hoping that maybe everybody else is going to cycle through and pit also.
Yeah, Mason Hall down on pit road. Connor Dudek down for extended time. Not sure if he had an incident or what happened there. But yeah, green flag pit stops are upon us, as it looks like, yeah, we got some takers here. And at this point, if you know some guys can stay on out, man, do you just do a splash and go? Do you take 2? I mean, they did speed up the pit stops, right? So now they're more reflective of the real life stuff. But you still lose a lot of time on pit road when you do have to pit.
It's going to be an interesting call. I'm really curious what Crosby and Calantoni do. They're the ones I'm watching. As they've dominated the second half of this race once we've gotten it going, and just what are they got at most maybe 10, 12 laps that they can stretch it. So I'm curious to see how far they can make it. We guesstimated what, 8 or 9 laps short. So
yeah, gonna be really interesting. You know, you'd hate to be the race leader and have to pit, you know, inside of even 15 laps to go in a race, right?
Yeah, it's just such a gut punch, especially when it's not like you got up here because of your strategy. You got up here because you got a fast car tonight, and you just didn't pit one extra time like Josh Parker did, and some of these other guys that are going to possibly be able to stretch it. So as much as you don't like it, you're hoping for a caution, but at this point, as I said, once it gets stretched out, it's really hard for there to actually be that caution. And here's another driver making his way back up to the field. We mentioned him earlier. It's Chance Griffith. He's back up in a battle here for 5th on Frank.
Yeah, I tell you what, last couple of times by Chance Griffith almost in a different zip code, about 2/10 faster than the race leaders. And I think he's definitely good in the fuel window, and he says it is go time. He is picking them up and putting them down as he now gets back inside of the top 5 as battle for the race lead, closing on up Calantoni within 3 car lengths now of John Crosby.
Yeah, and obviously, like we mentioned, these two guys not saving at all. They know they can't make it, so I think it's more just a thing of positioning. But I would almost rather be in second place in this point, just because you can be the one that's like, all right, I'm gonna pit before him, and he can't match that. As the leader, if you pit, usually the guy in second place can most likely match it. Callum Tony could get an advantage here. It may not be for the race win with some guys being able to make it, but he could get an advantage and at least jump Crosby, and who knows how many guys can make it actually. So
Exactly.
you never know if you're still racing for a top 5 or a podium, or who knows. Some of these guys probably could still run out. Who knows what could happen? But
Exactly. Or the race pace, fall off so much that, you could chase someone on down if you got enough time. And, that's where you said, Brandon, Cal Tony might have the advantage if they do have to pit because he has no one in his rearview mirror. He doesn't have to call out his pit stop, with the rule book, whereas John Crosby with Cal Tony right there does have to call it on out to let the 84 know that he is slowing up to head to pit road. So wild stuff unfolding here.
Yeah, and the other thing at this point now is this is where it becomes one of them strategy things where you're thinking in the car. Do you want to pit now early to be able to get that advantage and utilize them new tires for as many laps as you can? Because as you dwindle them down, you're losing laps of what you can take advantage of them for. But at that same time, if you pit, you lose that chance of actually getting that caution you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for this caution, and if that caution comes out after you make your green flag pit stop, and you miraculously, or if you unmiraculously lose a lap, which he could possibly do, it's an even bigger gut punch than just running out of fuel in a sense. So
yeah, it definitely isn't.
What do you do? What do these guys want to do? I think if you're Crosby, you run it as late as you can. If you're Callum Tony, maybe a short pit it. That's what I'd kind of try to do, and just hope it stays green here, and hopefully a bunch of guys run out.
Yeah, because the ultimate other gut punch, right, is if you pit and a caution then comes out and say, man, if I only stayed out X amount more laps, I would have been all right, but I decided to come in too early, get the caution at the wrong time. That's a tough one. And as well as, John Crosby having a lot on his shoulders as well. So far this season on Sunday nights, he has the third most top 5 finishes, setting 5 top 5 finishes so far in his starts, and has yet to visit victory lane. So 73 machine trying to visit victory lane, and he has shown speed all night long here. So a little bit more to put on the plate, right?
Yeah, he's had great speed all night, just running that low line like I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the race. And Anthony kind of does a little bit higher line just to get a little bit cleaner air, but yeah, it's a gut punch as these guys are getting these laps down and they're looking at their fuel tank being like, I probably have 5 or 6 laps I can make it now, and it's just not this caution's just not coming. It's not coming, and you can feel it even more and more because they've maintained their lead. They're still over 4 seconds ahead of Josh Parker. Jamison Heath and Griffith are sitting, Chance Griffith are sitting 4th and 5th. They're way back there, so they have a comfortable lead. It's just they were never going to be able to save that much, and the gut punches is that caution might not be coming.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that is the case. It looks like maybe one car a little bit off the pace, the 20 machine of Mike Wolf. Looks like maybe got a little bit loose there off of turn number 2, but he keeps that car rolling, so we stay under the green flag conditions now with 13 to go here tonight at Homestead. And yeah, like you said, Brandon, as heads up here, Cal Tony, big time sideways. Wow, he somehow hung on to that race car. Woo-hoo-hoo. That was a big time moment for the driver in second, so that gives Crosby now a big time breathing room. But man, Cal Tony hanging onto this race car. We've seen this 84 machine, get sideways many of times this season, and that was a big time save there by the 84.
If I'm him, I'm probably pitting. I know I can't make it. I'm pitting now to try to get my tires and hopefully try to get an advantage on Crosby here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to stay out another lap.
Stay out.
Yeah, I thought I'd be under that same mindset, Brandon, right? 1, you lost all that time on the racetrack, so, you pit, make up some of that. And 2, that right rear now going to be extra toasty underneath that race car. Yeah. Only going to hurt that drive off the corner.
Yeah, he's like even after gathering it back up, he's still bleeding time to Crosby. So my thought, and you can hear him, He's clutching it. Is he trying to make it?
I think he is. I think he really backed down his pace, saying, hey, maybe we lose this spot to Josh Parker, but, at least we can try and finish it. So, yeah, maybe let's ride on board here with Calatoni and see how much he is off the throttle. But it seems like a very long time off the throttle as Mike Wolf down on pit road as well.
Yep, so Mike probably one of the ones trying to make it, just didn't quite save enough, and I think that's... Yeah, he's clutching every time. I wonder how many laps he's been doing this for. If he were to make it, it would be super impressive. Oh no.
Big time hit there for Calatoni as he gets that thing big time loose off of turn number 2. This time he is not as lucky.
It does draw the caution. I did not think it would draw the caution in the paint, but that will draw the caution. And that, ironically enough, that's the caution he wanted. That's the caution John Crosby wanted. That's the caution John Crosby just got.
Yeah,
so,
that it is.
Whole new ball game because we've been out here for a while. Everybody's going to want tires, Brett. Everybody's going to have cold tires, Brett. And we're going to have some restarts, Brett. We're going to have a restart here. And I'm not going to have much faith in these guys after watching it took them 4 attempts last time. Yeah, this race just got a whole lot more interesting.
Yeah, that it did. I was just about to ask you that, Brandon. We saw the last time a caution fell. It took him 4 times to get back fired and underway. Now we get to do it inside of 10 laps to go, probably 5 to go when it's all said and done. Woo! And does anyone get brave enough for maybe 2 tires and try and get some track position? It's going to be a tough decision for these guys here as pit road opens this time by.
Yeah, I'm curious to see all the strategies, everybody's calls. What are they gonna do? But yeah, like we said, this is a whole new factor, and the difference is now these guys aren't trying to get going for a long run. These guys are not trying to get clean air to save tires for a long run. These guys are trying to win the race. This is gonna be even more intense than just trying to get clean air. So let's see all the different strategies. We know who came in. I believe Crosby's obviously going to take 4. Parker already coming out. He had to have taken 2. Crosby, Heath, Chance. So most of these guys maintaining track position. Joe Hudson. I believe right there Josh Parker had to have taken 2 tires to get the lead. Knowing he wants to have control on these restarts, Brett. He wants the control. He wants the clean air. And he's taking a gamble here, probably taking 2 tires.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Actually, I think I'm seeing with the pit road report here that I think, actually took 4 tires, but they put less in the fuel tank to make sure that they went right away as soon as the jack dropped. So I think it might have...
Interesting.
Yeah. Because another
one of those things as a driver, not everybody's trying... That's not one of them things you think of to try to save time on a pit stop.
No, and especially here in iRacing, right? We hear more and more now in the real life stuff, but I think now with these pit stops a little bit quicker, now we're starting to see a factor a little bit more into iRacing as that fuel can time does matter. And it makes a difference here tonight because another driver that benefited, another driver that topped off later, the 71 of Jamison Heath, he gets to restart in 4th as well with a quick stop.
Yeah, another guy that was up there earlier in the race. Yeah, he obviously has a fast car, and we're gonna see some moves made here. This is gonna get good, Brett. We got John Crosby, who's dominated the second half of the race. Chance Griffin dominated the first half of the race. And then we got Josh Parker up on the front row, who's dominated the season.
Yeah, now but some other names too now inside of the top 10. Joe Hudson right here, Steve Ritter, Frank Zing now in contention once again. Tyler Humphrey, Todd Perot, all right there as well. As here we go. iRacing pace car going to make the left-hand turn down pit road, and it's going to be Josh Parker leading them into the restart zone up on the top side. Oh man, Parker gets a great jump on the field as we head back going to green flag racing, and Look at this, Jameson Heath trying to get clear. He does get clear.
Woo! Yeah,
Wow.
Heath cleared to second. That's a great move. Obviously, firing behind the restart or the leader really helps on restarts. And here we go down the back stretch to see if we keep it clean and green.
Yeah, for the time being, everyone trying to get that track position, but Josh Parker out in front here. As this time by, we go 4 to go. Brandon, we're able to make it down the back straightaway. That bodes well for us making it, right?
Yeah, we got the full lap. We're getting heat in these tires. And here we go as we see Chance trying to make a run on Jameson. Try to get back up and battle, be able to battle Parker here for, ooh, it looks like somebody brushing the wall. It might have been Chance. Here we go down the backstretch. Chance wants the outside. He's going to get it here.
Yeah, Chance Griffith driving in there deep to make it stick here, and it's going to be a drag race down the front straightaway, side by side for second, almost 4 wide behind them. As wow, from the top to the bottom there, taking that momentum, and you got to because it's now 3 to go.
Yeah, he needs to, if he wants to be able to chase down Parker, he needs to clear him right here.
Oh,
he's going to battle him, And look at Joe Hudson. Joe Hudson's going to get a run here. We might be 3 wide down, and we are gonna be 3 wide down into turn 3.
Here we go.
3 to go.
I think Griffith and Heath kind of slowed down one another, racing as close as they were, taking
Joe's
the
got
air.
the slider. He can take this if he wants it, and Joe Hudson's gonna clear them both.
He's
for second place.
Wow, I think the 39 and the 71 too worried about one another. Let the 23 go on by. He says thank you very much. Popsicle sticks up in the air. It's 2 to go, but it's Josh Parker out there by himself. Joe Hudson a little bit of breathing room. And Chance Griffith trying to get that 39 machine wound back up on the top.
Yep, you see John Crosby getting in the wall there a little bit, battling for 5th with Humphrey. And each one of these guys trying to get their line that they want here as we come to the white flag. And I think the biggest battle we got right now is for 3rd place between Griffith and Heath.
Yeah, that it definitely looks like it. Here goes Tyler Humphrey making the move to the inside of John Crosby. You got to know Crosby feeling sick to his stomach there with that restart and how it went for the 73, watching this race drive on away from him as down the backstretch, Josh Parker going to lead the way. And yeah, Heath and Griffith side by side for 3rd. Though Griffith has the run, he will get clear. 71 has one more shot maybe in 3 and 4 here. We'll see if he can take it, but off of turn number 4, it's going to be Josh Parker picking up yet another win here. Joe Hudson 2nd, Chance Griffith in that 3rd position. As wow, I tell you what, a barn burner to the end of that one as Josh Parker trying to pick up yet another checkered flag here. And right now the biggest mover started in the back there and made up 26 spots. So man, the season where nothing can go wrong continues for him as he looks like he will try and celebrate here tonight at Homestead.
Yeah, I will say one thing too about Josh is if you probably look at his stats, the incidents are probably just as low as most other guys that have barely made any starts. So lots of wins and lots of clean racing by Josh this year.
Yeah, that's always awesome to see. It's a stat that I know I care about maybe a little bit too much, but when it comes to league racing, that's the #1 stat I try and track is like, hey, how little incidents can I have in a season? Because that's what I go out here to do is try and make no contact with everyone. But we see the 26 machine, burning on down on the front straightaway. We know he is pumped up, and after a good night for him, a kind of tough night for Simley, Josh Parker going to stretch these points on out here tonight as he burns them on down at Homestead.
Brett, I just want to make a note on that. The incidents per race, the top 3 in incident per race. We have Michael Carroll, who's made 1 start with us. He's sitting at 2 incidents per race. I'm in 3rd with 8 starts. I have 2.88 incidents per race. Josh Parker has 11 starts. He's at 2.45. He is less than me. He is, in my eyes, he is leading the incidents per race just based on having multiple starts. So that, as I noted, it's not just it's great racecraft. He doesn't get into people when he gets to the front. So yeah, it shows why he's leading the points and he's got all these wins. So congrats to him. And just to give him another note, his average changing position per race is 20.8.
Woo! So yeah, it's not like he's going out there not racing around cars. He's definitely around them.
Nope, he's probably made the most passes out of anybody this year after watching just this race, him coming in. And actually, it does show that he is second in total passes behind Johnny Barker with 355.
Wow. Wow, that is
So,
impressive.
yep, Josh Parker just very impressive season.
Yeah, that it is. So, Brandon, what do you say? We go quick commercial break and then boot up our Riptide Radio post-race show. And it looks like we might have a few drivers to talk to at the conclusion of this one.
Yep, sounds good.
Alrighty, folks, we'll be right back after a quick commercial break, and then we'll start our Riptide Radio post-race show. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here at Homestead Miami Speedway in Brandon. We have some breaking news.
Yep. Following the old post-race tech, it has been found that Mr. Josh Parker has been disqualified from the race. We'll try to get further information based off this, but yeah, Josh Parker DQ'd, not the winner. Will finish in last place, receive 0 points, and talk about a shake-up in the points, talk about a shake-up in the race, the season, but with all that being said, I want to say that means Joe Hudson gets the win, so congrats to Joe. His second career win. We kind of joked on the podcast last night that unfortunately this is the second time Joe's won by via DQ with which is kind of ironic, but Joe's a very, very fast racer, and he will get that win where it is him crossing the line. He will get to do a burnout, but unfortunately, no burnouts for Joe, but he still gets credited with the win. So congrats to Joe Hudson. And if there's anybody that's liking this result in a way, it's probably Scott Simley after having a tough night tonight, Brett. I mean, guy's second in points, probably thinks he's losing a bunch as he's already knows he's in an uphill battle with a guy that's winning almost every race. And then this kind of happens. So in a sense, Scott Simley's gained some points on Parker tonight.
Yeah, and then you look at the big picture too. It's maybe a night of what ifs for Scott Simley, right? You know, if he doesn't get involved multiple laps down, has a, top 10, top 5. But like you said, overall gains on him, which is a big deal.
Yeah, it is one of those what if moments. I mean, but it could have also been what if Parker doesn't get DQ'd and we're looking at a bigger gap. So I think if you're Scott, you got to look at this glass half full and not half empty, but
Yep.
it's still an uphill climb. And as we know, Josh could easily come back and win next week. But enough about the guy who got DQ'd. Congrats to Joe, but I do not believe Joe is available for interview yet, Brett. But we do have the other two podium guys. So whatever one you want to bring in first, my guy. And yeah, let's talk to Chance and Jameson about their runs.
Yeah, I agree. Let's with a topsy-turvy night, let's go with the guy that finished second here. We'll chat with the 39 machine first. It is going to be Chance Griffith. Chance, do you got a copy? It's Brett and Brandon in the booth here.
Copy.
Alrighty, man. I know it's not Sunday night and all that, but we appreciate you being here for the race replay. And I tell you what, man, first and foremost, what'd you think of this 120 lapper when it was all said and done?
Oh, it was exhilarating, honestly. I had a great time. I'm newer to the league, so trying to keep my nose clean, which I didn't do. But kind of just came to the NASCAR side about a month ago. I've been driving sports cars my whole time on here, so still getting used to everything.
Well, you looked great in the beginning of the race, Chance. You were ripping the fence. Looked to have like the control of the race, and then as we kind of noted, you get stuck in traffic, you get all that dirty air, and the car just handles so much different. Was it more of a battle to try to work your way back up through the field than you thought it was going to be?
100%, and I realized in the later part of the first stint that the top line was chewing the tires up, and I hadn't really practiced much on the bottom, so was learning to try to migrate to the bottom, then got stuck in the dirty air, and it was just tight. I had the brake bias pulled way far back.
And did you get any damage from when? I mean, you said you got into, I think it was Kelly there a little bit, and just did that affect any damage for probably that middle portion of the run where you had to get that fixed?
No, I didn't have any. I mean, I was going to turn in a little later. He turned in earlier than I thought, and just side by side.
Like I called that, Brett.
I hated it for him.
Yeah, that's kind of what we assessed, was that you were trying to get like a little bit more of a higher arc down into the bottom, and he wanted to get more to the middle as quick as he could, and just you guys kind of met there, and just it's a little bit of a restart racing incident, as we had mentioned, because them restarts are greasy. Them tires are cold, and them first couple laps are very dicey. So maybe the middle portion of the race when that happened, but you get them green light checkers where you're trying to go for a win. I bet you're on edge for them 5 laps at the end, I bet.
Oh, my heart was pumping. I thought I had a shot at winning, and I see Joe just come right through the bottom. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, we were saying it too. I was saying it. He needs to get clear in this corner. He needs to get clear, and you couldn't quite get clear. Jameson sent it in there on the outside, and then all of a sudden here comes Joe just ripping the bottom and kind of just got right past both of you, kind of side drafting each other. But it's still a great run, like you said, and yeah, it's a good run, especially when you had like the kind of the middle portion of the race and you recover. And
oh, yeah. Very fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do it again next Sunday.
Yeah, of course, next Sunday, I believe we then head to, let's see what the schedule says.
I think it's Kentucky. I feel like we said.
Yeah,
I think it's
Kentucky.
A track that not many people drive because it's not on the schedule anymore. So that'll be interesting.
Yep, I haven't purchased it yet.
0 laps. There we go.
I'll get some in, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, when it comes to the kind of sports car road racing side, what do you think really kind of transfers over? Because as you can tell, a lot of stuff different, but it seems like there is some transfer over when it comes to maybe road, IMSA, sports cars, and this next-gen car. Do you kind of feel that way when it comes to iRacing?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Just saving the tires and avoiding the wrecks before they happen. It's the biggest skill you can learn on this game.
Yeah, that's definitely key, and you're able to do that here tonight, Chance, up on the podium. Once it's all said and done, a runner-up finish for you, so that is awesome to see, and, a lot of speed for you in the opening stages of this run, and, of course, some fuel strategy. Were you good on fuel when it was all said and done to the end if that caution didn't come out late in tonight's race?
Yeah, I pit with the last group on the last caution of the 3 or 4 that we got, and I was good like 5 laps. So I was just trying to save the tires in case it went green to the end, because I chewed them up on the first stint and wanted something for the end.
Yeah, and you definitely had something, because right before that caution came out, we went to your car and you were picking them off there. It seemed like this 39 machine a lot better in the long run there, and it definitely looked like it. How'd it feel for you?
Oh, it was good. I actually started behind Steve Ritter, saw how he was running the bottom, and just kind of transferred that. And then when I needed to gain some time, I'd go to the top for a corner or two, and that seemed to really complement itself.
Yeah, and overall, a great run for you, Chance. A runner-up finish here in your early 802 career. And Chance, before we let you go, I always got to ask, first time chatting with someone up here in the booth, I believe, for you. And I like to get people's kind of sim setups. It seems like no two people have the same exact setup. So what do you got these days for wheels, pedals? What are you looking at? All that good stuff.
Well, I just upgraded to the Sim Magic 18 Newton meter with the NT Geo wheel, and then I got the Fanatec V2 pedals still.
Ah, nice. So another one in the Sim Magic Brigade. It seems like there's quite a few drivers here in the 802 that are a fan of that wheelbase, let's say.
Best bang for your buck.
Yeah, it does seem pretty awesome here, Chance. And thanks again for jumping in here on an off night to chat with us. But once again, a great run for you. But before we let you go, man, we got to hand it over one final time to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you like to shout out on the YouTubes.
I'll shout out my endurance team, Go Fast Racing. I run the car every week. They're the ones that I got into the hobby with. So
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome stuff, Chance. And once again, man, keep on keeping on with the old speed. And yeah, man, it's impressive to see the improvement already. Can't wait to see what's more in store for you. And you have yourself a great night, and we'll catch you back Sunday night, if not sooner.
Thank you. You guys too.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Brandon. That was our runner-up finisher, Chance Griffith, in the 39 machine. Now we'll talk to our third place finisher, that being the driver of the 71. It is Jamison Heath, and it looks like my little driver card not going to update here, so that's great to see. As we'll get a word with the driver of the 71 machine. Jamison, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I gotcha.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, how you feeling? I know it's not the actual race night, but what were your thoughts after 120 laps at Homestead?
Yeah, I was really happy with the result. Spent a lot of the race just climbing back up after the first run. Just did not like the car at all in the beginning, and got it pointed in the right direction, and it turned out pretty all right. I can't complain too much about that one.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like, at first, I don't know if you're maybe saving some tire or maybe struggling a little bit with the car, but, you kind of fell off the pace a little bit. And then kind of the big moment for you in the race, getting turned around on the restart. How'd you feel about that first half? Because that's got to feel a lot different than the second half of this one, right?
Yeah, the first half, I don't know what was up, but like during practice, I was struggling with severe tightness, just could not get the car to turn. We get into the first stint of the race, I almost spun like 3 times, and that's why I fell so far back. I had to save the car so many times. And then that spin, I should have gotten damage from hitting the wall that hard, but I came out, started getting back going, and my spotter said I had no damage at all. So that was a big saving grace. I definitely thought that was going to be a big obstacle to getting back up to the field.
Yeah, we took a look even on the broadcast. Didn't see any damage on the nose of that race car as well. We were impressed, and you didn't even come down to pit road to repair anything. You were confident in that, and man, that car looked like it turned a light switch, because then after that, even with the spin, you were picking them off and driving through that field.
Yeah, well, the entire race I had noticed I was way better in the long run, which with that final caution, even though I restarted better, I got up to second. I knew it wouldn't be enough because my short run pace is nowhere near as good as my long run pace. And I saw that even in the first stint, even after having those big moments where my car wasn't handling well, at the end of that stint, I was running the exact same times as the leaders. So definitely was a saving grace, that long run pace.
Yeah, that it was, and I want to look at big pic. Or well, we'll continue with the race, let's say, because yeah, that pace, great to see. You're able to then have a little bit quicker pit stop, come out in fourth, and you had a shot for that win. But man, you and Chance racing hard there on that final restart. Tell me about what you were thinking there.
Yeah, it was a great battle, and honestly, I was just hoping to hold on to that podium position because I like doing these interviews; they're fun. But yeah, it was a really good battle, and he definitely had more pace all night. I think he deserved a little bit more.
Yeah, I tell you what, and Jameson, speaking about chatting with me and some finishes, you're now on, I believe, a 4-race streak of finishing inside of the top 5. That continues here tonight at Homestead. So, man, you have had a lot of success here. I think it's only a matter of time before you visit Victory Lane here again in the future.
Yeah, this race with Parker being disqualified at ties in my stats, I have the same amount of podium finishes as I do laps led this season. So all we got to do now is get just a few spots better and into the top spot.
Yeah, that it is because, yeah, like I said, 4 races now in a row up here on or in the top 5. Also, a lot of up in the podiums as well now with it. And, next week we kind of head to a little bit of a wild card, not on the Cup schedule anymore. No one races there except for on iRacing. We head to Kentucky. How do you feel about that place next Sunday night?
Um, if I can make it, I think I'll do good. I'm not sure if I'll make it though. I've done Kentucky before, and I like it. I like the cookie cutter tracks. I like the multi groove, run wherever you can type of tracks.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be one. It's kind of a different version of Kansas. Kansas is kind of the same throughout, where Kentucky, has a little bit different banking. It's almost like a smaller Texas without the banking in 3 and 4. So that should be a really, really wild time, let's say, with that place. And, overall for a season, man, like I said, coming on strong here late in this season. And what are kind of the goals or expectations here with now about 6 races left in the season on Sunday nights?
Yeah, I'd say the goal is just continue proving that it's not just veterans that can get consistency, and like new people can uh show up and do good. Parker's showing up as well, and I think this is his first season. Um, but yeah, and age is just a number.
Hey, that it is. And yeah, Brandon, I mean, do you have any questions for our third place finisher here tonight?
No, you kind of wrapped them all up. I was mostly going to ask about the damage, but I mean, like he said, his spotter told me it was clear and green, and yeah, just an impressive run. Good to recover from, as you said, a little bit of some kind of slide in the tire, and then obviously having the slide and hitting the wall, and just taking advantage of that long run there towards the. Unfortunately, it didn't go green. Like you said, you were good on the long runs, but still capitalized and got the podium.
Yeah, that he did. And with this finish now, puts him actually in the top 10 in points. So Jameson, when it's all said and done, you now jump up to 10th in points here. So still could, nab a few spots, because at the moment, you said about 50 or so points back from 5th in points as well. So you keep up this run and, even walk away with a decent points finish, even though, not here on every Sunday night.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Man, I wish I could make every single race, but schedules conflicts just don't allow that. I would if I could.
Oh yeah, it definitely is the case. But we always enjoy seeing the 71 machine. I know I'm a little bit biased. I always root for you when I see that number and car out there. And here tonight, getting the job done here once again with another podium finish. So Jameson, before we let you go and enjoy kind of the off night, we're going to go hand over the mic to you one final time here and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to here from Homestead.
Well, Unfortunately, my teammate got removed from the league earlier, but still like to thank him. He still helps me with like coaching and stuff, helps me become a better driver. Uh, yeah, I gotta give it off to him. So he is continuously making me a better driver.
Alrighty, well, good stuff there. And Jameson, once again, man, awesome hot streak you're on. 4 top 5s in a row. You keep it on up, man, and we look forward to seeing you back there out on track. And you have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, thank you too.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Brandon. And yeah, looks like Joe Hudson not going to make the call least tonight. It looks like for some interviews. So I guess we'll get your final thoughts and start wrapping on up here from Homestead.
My thoughts, great race. Big implications at the end with the DQ. Really excited to finally get back on track. It seems like it's been a while since I've raced in the next gen car at least, but yeah, next week will be really exciting at Kentucky, a track that we don't race on as often just based on it not being on the Cup schedule, but I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I thought tonight was a great race. We saw great racing all the way throughout the field. A lot of strategy, and the guy getting his first win of the season.
Yeah, that he does as Joe Hudson picks up the win here. And Brandon, thanks again for jumping in here in the booth and calling this one here, because I know you got some stuff you got to get ready to get to here as you get ready to fire up the truck. And where are you guys heading to tonight, and where can people find some more 802 racing action here tonight on Tuesday?
Yeah, we are heading to the desert. We're racing Phoenix tonight, so if anybody wants, hop on over, watch us race on turn 1. Not to give a shout out to another broadcaster on the Turn 3 Racing Network, because we do love Turn 3 with you, and obviously the Dirt Series starting up soon with Roger, but the trucks will be on the Turn 1 broadcast. We start at 9 o'clock, so yeah, if you want to come watch some of the guys that were racing tonight, well, racing Sunday, but via tonight, they're also racing again tonight at 9 o'clock at Phoenix. So it should be a fun little race. Got a tight little points battle with 2 races to go, and looking forward to finishing the truck season strong, the first one, and can't wait to get the next one ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Brandon, an intense points battle there. It's going to be some high-stake racing these last 2 races of the season, and that's going to be fun to watch. So, Brandon, thanks again for all your help here tonight, and if you got to jet on out of here, I don't blame you.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys Monday or next Sunday. We'll be at Kentucky. The one car will be back on track, and hopefully we're talking to Brett at the end of the race, not during the race, getting a infield care center interview. But Brett, it's always fun joining you in the booth, and we'll let you wrap it up here, and I'm gonna go get in the truck.
All right, sounds good, Brandon. Good luck here tonight in your race, and thanks again, man. It's always a great time having you calling these races with me.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. We'll see you.
We'll see you too. All righty, folks. That was the driver of the one car, Brandon Garan. He will be back on next Sunday night at Kentucky, like he just said. And yeah, here tonight, Josh Parker going to get DQ'd, so race results won't look exactly like that because Parker will go to the end in big time points implications. Now leaving here tonight, he only has a 35-point advantage over Scott Simley, so things tightening back up. But here we go. Joe Hudson will pick up the win. Chance Griffith will bring it home in second here with his limited starts, showing off some speed and doing that here tonight. Jamison Heath now going on a 4-week top 5 streak with a 3rd place finish. Tyler Humphrey will bring it home 4th. John Crosby in the 73 machine rounds out the top 5. Grant Humphrey will finish 6th. Steve Ritter 7th. Frank Zingen in 8th. Todd Perot in 9th. And Nick Barton rounding out the top 10. Dan Holcroft will finish 11th. 12th going to Tyler Waltz. 13th is Mason Hall. Mike Wolf 14th. Eli Raposa 15th. Brandon Hinton bringing home 16th. 17th going to Arabia Caton. 18th is Evan Fuqua. And 18th it looks like. Then the rest of the field here, Anthony Calatoni, 19th. Johnny Barker, 20th. Scott Simley, 21st. Connor Dudek, 22nd. Dylan Hinton 23rd, Kip Easley 24th, Rob Lowell will finish 25th, Mike Kelly 26th, Chris Progar 27th, and James Hislop in 28th, because then Josh Parker will be awarded 29th and no points. So a wild one here at Homestead. Be sure to tune in tomorrow or tonight if you'd like to see some more 802 racing as the Truck Series races over on Turn 1 Racing Network. Also be sure to tune in next Sunday night as these drivers take on Kentucky. And then once Kentucky concludes, only 5 races left in this season, and things are tightening on up. So we got to thank all the live viewers out here tuning on in here or on the replay. We got Tim out there in the chat. Same with Tyler. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, we also got to give a shout out league admins, all the league drivers for putting on a show. Just shy of 30 cars here tonight. Awesome to see deep into a season. And of course, all the 802 partners and sponsors, that being BG Graphix, Riptide Radio, GStone Motorsports, Admin Boxx, Stone Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, as well as Riptide Radio and Rock Pirates RC. So that will do it here tonight. Everyone take care, stay safe. Also, we got a shout out. Turn 3 is partnered with Premier Setup Shops. You can find out more with the link in the description. That'll take you over to your website. Click would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, everyone take care, stay safe, have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you back on Sunday night. And once again, I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and I just flew by you. Have a good one, folks.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.